The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. Amen. You sound fantastic. Thank you for doing this. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. We're talking about rest today. Rest. Now, rest is something frowned upon, apparently, in our culture. For some reason, rest is not something we do or want to do. Rest is the new four-letter word. We don't even want to talk about rest. It's not something we enjoy at all, apparently. Or maybe it's something that's always on our list, and we'll rest tomorrow. I heard this phrase a lot. I'll sleep when I'm dead. You ever heard that before? I'll sleep when I'm dead. You know you can rest now, right? Rest in peace is not something that you just have to wait till you stop breathing. Rest in peace can happen for you today. You can have rest in peace. We won't even let those who have passed away, we won't even let them rest. Have you ever heard people say, oh, he's spinning in his grave right now? We can't even let the dead rest in this culture. What are we doing? What are we doing? We don't like rest. Or if we say, hey, how you doing? We used to say good or fine or okay, can't complain. Now we say busy. How you doing today? Busy. We're just busy. We've replaced the word good with busy as if busy is good. What are we doing? What are we thinking? What in the world? I heard this guy, he once said, I work hard, but that means I can play hard. Yeah, well, when are you going to rest hard, bro? When's that going to happen? When's the rest going to happen? How's the rest going to be? We're so stressed out, burnt out. Our schedules are chaos. What is going on in our culture? What are we doing? This series, we've been talking about a shepherd and a relationship with a sheep. It's really hard to follow your shepherd when you're like a chicken with your head cut off. Why are we doing that? What are we doing? What's happened to us? When's the last time you had 8+ hours of sleep? Well-rested sleep. When's the last time that's happened? Did you know that 60% of Americans now claim less than 6 hours of sleep a night? We're in a sleep crisis today. And maybe it's because we're up all night scrolling or watching or distracted doing something. Who knows what we're doing? But it correlates with our statistics on depression and anxiety as well. It's as if there's an alarm bell going off saying, rest, rest, rest. We're stressed, we're anxious, we're not resting. When's the last time you had a vacation where when you returned from the vacation, you were rested? How many of you are like me, you are more tired after the vacation? Anybody like that? What are we doing? What are we doing? This sermon's for me too, just so you know. All right, I need to hear these words too. But yeah, when's the last time we had dinner around a table where we didn't have phones to distract us and we just enjoyed each other's company? When's the last time that happened? Or is your dining table just piled up with stuff as we're going to and fro? And it's a sad monument to how busy we are. We have a rest problem in our culture today. It's a big problem. So when we read verses like Psalm 23, verse 2, that says, he makes me lie down, where it's almost like that. What is that, a threat? What are you going to do? God, you're going to make me lie down? Like as if that's a bad thing? Rest. It's okay. Rest. It's fine. Recline. Take it easy. Take a break. Take a breath. Allow your soul to catch up with your body. Do that. He makes me lie down. Another way to say it is he allows opportunities for me to lie down. Or he makes it so I can lie down. That's another way you can read the Hebrew on that. He causes me to lie down. He allows me to lie down. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But it's not something we want to do naturally. I got a buddy who's a shepherd on the side. He dabbles in shepherding. He's got some chickens. He's got some goats. He has a full-time gig, but he also likes to do sheep as well, like have a sheep farm deal. So he's got a couple of sheep. And I've been asking him, I said, hey, we're doing this series about Psalm 23 and how shepherding sheep stuff. And can you weigh in on this? Is it way out in left field? Does it make sense? And he goes, no, actually it makes sense a great deal. He dabbles in shepherdry, and he says, sheep don't naturally lie down. It takes a lot of perfect conditions for a sheep to stop wandering around. Sheep in their natural state, they like to just wander, and they like to eat, and they like to move, and it's what they naturally do. But every now and again, if the conditions are just right, the sheep will lay down, will enjoy some rest. It's a good thing for the sheep. Most of the time, sheep with a shepherd are the ones where these conditions are right. I said, well, what are these conditions? Like, what do they need? And he rattled off 4 things, and it was perfect alliteration, and I loved it, so I made a slide with it. I love it. So the first thing, the sheep needs to be free from fear. It has to be, all right? A sheep will not lie down if it's scared of a threat. If it's anxious about something, it's not going to happen. So in order for a sheep to lie down, it needs to be free from fear. The second thing the sheep need to be free from, it needs to be free of friction, okay? If the sheep are in a pen or in too close of quarters, if the sheep are bumping up against one another, they will turn against one another, or they'll turn against the weakest one, and then they'll be stressed out. There's no way they're laying down if there's tension in the flock, if there's fighting amongst the sheep. No one's gonna lay down if there's tension or friction in the flock. Also, it needs to be parasite-free, okay? He says, he loves this verse because it's true. Sheep cannot stay in a pasture for very long. They need to keep moving, okay? So a good shepherd knows when they're safe and when they're in a good pasture, and it encourages them to lie down while they're there. Sheep cannot stay very long because over time the grass gets cut and the poop piles up, and then parasites come. Bugs come, and it messes with them. And sheep hate stuff flying around their heads. Sheep hate parasites draining them, making them weak. So a good shepherd will lead them to a patch of grass, and then he'll move them. Usually every 3 days or so is when the flock needs to move. You can't stay in a pasture very long. It has to be parasite-free. And then finally, the sheep also have to be well-fed. Okay? If the sheep are hungry, they're going to be wandering around. So sheep without a shepherd don't lay down. Sheep with a shepherd in the right conditions do. So a good shepherd knows how to manage and care for the flock. And when it manages and cares for the flock well, guess what? The sheep then can rest. So a way to read this is not, he makes me lie down. It's more like he provides the right conditions to make you able to lie down. And so a sheep with a shepherd. I love what the Gospel of Matthew says. Jesus comes across a city of people, a crowd of people, and he breaks down. He has compassion for them. And he's so devastated seeing the condition the people are in. And I just want to read this verse for you. In Matthew chapter 9, it says this: when Jesus saw the crowds, he felt compassion for them because they were weary and worn out. Another translation says they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. And then he says a couple chapters later, he calls out to them, this group of people he has compassion for. He says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened or heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Jesus offers you not a to-do list, not a guilt trip. Jesus has something to offer you, and it's rest. Rest. I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. He doesn't say, "Come to me, all you are weary and heavy laden, and I will pile it on." No, I'll give you rest. He's making the conditions right for you to rest. And when I'm thinking about what's keeping us from lying down, it's similar to what the sheep struggle with, right? When it comes to why we don't lie down, why we don't rest, maybe we are anxious about something. Maybe we're worried about something. Maybe we're scared of something. Maybe we've forgotten that verse that says perfect love casts out all fear. And maybe we're even scared of God. And maybe we just can't rest because we're scared or concerned or anxious about something, rattled about something. Maybe we can't rest because there's tension in our lives, tension, friction among the flock, tension, friction among people. Maybe we're just fighting and battling and bumping up against one another and stressed out about that. Maybe our energy is being drained from us like a parasite, like a vampire. You know any energy vampires out there that just, you're so tired, but you can't rest, and all these people are draining you, and you're just walking around like a zombie because you're just drained and you don't know how to rest anymore. Or maybe you're just not fed, and fed means you're not whole or complete. Not fed means there's no wellspring of life flowing out of you anymore. It's more just like it's a chore, it's a task, it's a burden, and you're harassed and helpless by this crazy, chaotic world, and you're just like, I can't rest. I can't possibly rest, not in these conditions. There's a shepherd who wants you to have rest. He says, come to me, all who are weary and burdened. Rutland, Vermont, are you weary? Are you heavy laden? Are you burdened? Are you burnt out? Are you stressed out? Jesus has something to offer you, and it's rest. He makes me lie down in green pastures. In green pastures. Now, pastures are patches of grass, and they're few and far between in some parts of the world. Sometimes you have a lot of pasture, like in America. Some places of the world, like where this was written, it's not that case. So I have a picture for you. This is the Judean countryside. It's very arid. It's very dry. Lots of desert, lots of mountains, hills, valleys, lots of valleys. And few and far between, there are little patches of grass. So that's the idea here. The shepherd is leading his flock from patch of grass to patch of grass. So the takeaway here is, if you find yourself in a green pasture, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Rest in it. How many of you, if you're looking back on your life and you kind of know which chapters of the life are the green pastures in hindsight, but you didn't appreciate it or enjoy it or rest in it when you were there? You didn't know what you had when you had it. How many of you, when you're looking back at old photos, you're just like, oh, that was a green pasture? But if you remember the state you were in when you were going in that season of life, you were stressed out. You were chasing. You were like, the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Anybody know that in their life? How many of us didn't appreciate the pasture when we had it? We missed it. We didn't know. There are seasons in my life where things were going really well, and I was in the middle of green pastures, but I didn't appreciate it, and I didn't rest in it. And instead, I ran through them, because I always thought life was nothing but green pastures. I also always thought that I was responsible for making the green pasture, and therefore, if I worked harder and pushed myself further, then I can have all the green pastures I want. No. Over the course of my life, I've learned to appreciate the times in my life where the pastures are green, because it's not always green pastures. A good shepherd knows what it took to get you to this green pasture, and a good shepherd knows how long between this green pasture and the next green pasture. I think the longer we live, the more we recognize this. My parents used to work really, really hard when I was younger, and they were in meetings, they were pushing, they were fighting, they were clawing, trying to get as much green pasture as possible. We replaced green pastures for something else that's green, and we chase after that instead, right? And we need a lot of green in our life. But as they've gotten older and as they've retired now, they've learned to appreciate life a lot more. And they'll come and visit us here in Vermont. And they love our kids, and they get on the floor and play with the grandkids. And there's this one time my dad was over, and he parked his camper out back, and he was here for a couple days. And he's down on the floor playing with Liam, my 3-year-old. And I'm on my phone. I'm like, finally a break. And I get on my phone, and I'm scrolling through my phone like I do way too much. And he's on the floor playing with my kids, and he just goes, I remember when you were this age. And I go, yeah, I bet you do. And he goes, no, they grow up so fast, you have no idea. I remember when you were like this, and now you're like this. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, whatever. And he knows I wasn't paying attention, and he knows I wasn't hearing him. And he finally just stopped me. He said, son, it happens so fast. Yeah, I know. And then he goes, not when you're paying attention. They grow up so fast, not when you're paying attention. not when you're present, not when you're enjoying it, not when you're in the moment, not when you're resting in it. Yeah, life happens so fast when we're blowing through pasture to pasture to pasture. Or we're not happy with the pasture we have. We're saying grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Hey, that's not fair. They have a great pasture. I'm not talking about full bank accounts and everything's going well at work, by the way. Some of the lowest points financially in my life are the greenest of pastures. Sometimes the parts where we didn't really know how ends were going to be met, but we knew we were here and held and loved and trusted the shepherd. Those are green pasture moments as well. So he makes me lie down in green pastures. Lindsay and I have been talking about this because our house sometimes is loud with 4 kids. We have 4 kids, 2 dogs, and a cat. Yeah. Whew, what a time to be alive, huh? And but we look at each other sometimes. Sometimes we're frustrated, like our house is just, what is going on? But she said to me the other day, she said, hey, there's only going to be so many times we can look back on where the kids were babies and the dogs are puppies. So let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy the ride. Let's be in the moment. Let's figure this out. So I have a stat, and I don't want to bum you out on Mother's Day, but I think it's important just to remind us of some things here. It says this: 75% of the time you will ever spend with your kids, parents, is over by the time they turn 12 years old. So parents have kids, right? And sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it's chaos, sometimes it's crazy. Sometimes we feel like taxi cab drivers, getting them all over the world, going to sports games or whatever they want. We're chasing it. So by the time they turn 12, you will have spent 75% of all the time you'll have with them while you're here. Yeah, and then the stat gets even bleaker. 90% of the time you will ever have with your kids is over by the time they turn 18. Enjoy the pastures. Enjoy it when it's green. He makes me lie down in green pastures. And it says, he leads me beside quiet waters or still waters. We live in a fire hose society, a fire hose culture. Nothing but information and opportunity being blasted into our face. But I'm here to tell you, the shepherd will lead you beside quiet waters. It's hard to hear the still small voice of the shepherd when you're just in a raging Niagara Falls hurricane torrent fire hose thing, right? So how do you make the most of the opportunities when you're in the green pastures? How do you make the most of your opportunities to hear the shepherd when you're by quiet waters? How do we do that? How do we make sure we make the most of these opportunities in our life? Well, I got 4 things for you. Okay, the first thing, if you find yourself in a green pasture beside quiet water, here's the first thing you can do. Take your smartphone and chuck it into the quiet water. Just throw it in there. You don't need it. It's crazy. I've discovered this amazing button lately. It's called Do Not Disturb. Isn't it amazing? I love it. And then, of course, I'll shut it off, and then there's a bunch of texts I missed or a bunch of voicemails. Sometimes people will go, Braden, just so you know, I couldn't get a hold of you the other day. Yeah, I know. Guess what? The sun didn't explode. We're still here. It's going to be okay, you know? Also, when it comes to your news feeds, when it comes to all this anger and color being shoved down our throats, all this chaos blinking on the phone, you know it has a power button, right? You know you don't have to panic when the battery's running low, right? You can just let it die. It's okay. I know some people who, in their entryway, their home became a phone-free zone. They have a box in the entryway. You put your phone in it, and then you can be present with your family. I think it's a great idea. Okay, limit screen time if you can, because there's nothing that says rushing loud water more than all this information being thrown our way. There's 2 trees in Genesis. One is the tree of life, which is the tree of presence and intentionality. The other is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I just got to get more info as to what is good and what is bad. No, you don't. Walk away from that tree. It leads to death. No, I'll not surely die. Dude, just go to the tree of life. It's okay. Take a minute. Take a second. Even if you have to fast from all this information for an hour, Enjoy the peace and quiet for an hour. Get up before the sun does. Enjoy the quiet. Enjoy it. A second thing you can do to make the most of your opportunity, just say no. The Apostle Paul in Romans 7, he says, the things I don't want to do, I do, and the things I do want to do, I don't do. What a wretched man I am. Who will save me from this body of death? The Apostle Paul's like panicking here in real time. He's just writing it out. And he says, then thanks be to Christ. A recipe for a life well lived is to say no to the things you don't want to do so you can say yes to the things you want to do. And sometimes it's simply just say no. If opportunities don't give you life, if don't give you rest, say no to them. And Jesus says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Right? If anything Jesus is offering, it's rest, remember? So let your yes be yes and your no be no. And the best time to say no is before you say yes. Don't say yes when you really mean no. Don't say yes when you really mean I'm going to ghost them. That's a lot of panic attack you don't need. Just say no. Just say no. It's okay. It's okay. And if they go, well, why don't you want to do this thing? And you just say, because I don't want to. You know, it's possible. It's okay to say no. It's fine. Just say no. Get a t-shirt. Go to Goodwill and get that shirt from the 90s if you need a reminder. Just say no. Sabbath. Take a day. Take a day. God makes the universe in Genesis chapter 1, and it says, on the seventh day God rested. If God can rest, take a day. Take a day. Seriously, it's okay. It's amazing. Take a day. And if you can't take a day, take an hour. And then take 2 hours. And then eventually take 24 hours. Take a day. Rest. It's a day of rest. It's a day to chill. It's a day. When's the last time you had a weekend where you truly didn't do anything on one of those days? How many of us are more tired on Monday? We were looking forward to Friday, and then by Monday we're like, what happened to my weekend? Take a day. Take a day. Also, I would say this, rest in peace. That's not just a promise for a tombstone someday. No, the name of God is the sound of breathing. The Lord is my shepherd. Therefore, you can have rest and you can have peace while you're still breathing. Isn't that amazing? You don't have to wait someday to when you're not breathing anymore. You finally get rest and you finally don't have to answer those texts or those emails. You can rest now. You can do it now. Rest in peace. Also, if you got drama in your life, just turn the volume down. Notice the same people are chirping the whole time. It's okay. Or like curling. You ever seen the curling people? They got a broom guy and they got a whatever guy with the rock. Be like the curler. You're skating with the drama, and then you just let the drama go away. Yeah, it's okay. Rest. And if they ask why are you not participating in my drama? Just go, Shepherd wanted me to lay down and rest. So I'm going to do that. Let's rest. The rest will follow. One more story. Some people have asked me, Braden, why do you have a stool on the stage and you never sit on it? So I'll answer that question right now. This stool's been with me for 3 years now. And I have it with me whenever I speak, either here or at other churches or at other opportunities or places. I always have the stool with me. And yes, I don't always sit on it, but it's a good reminder, okay? I got this 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was working with a church from New Hampshire called One Church. They had acquired this building, and we were renovating it, and I was on staff with that church trying to renovate this building. I was also assigned this calling to help start a church from scratch in Vermont. So we were meeting in a tent outside. We were battling the fire marshal inside to get a certificate of occupancy. And I would be on scaffolding and a ladder and painting all the time, all week. That was my life, okay? There's a lot of demo. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of crazy. Well, in the summer of 2022, I had met the end of my rope on that. We were no closer to a certificate of occupancy. We had a lot of break-ins. Turns out people that are ministers for a living aren't very good contractors. So we got TVs before we got door locks. We were robbed a lot over the summer. It was just crazy. And finally, one day I just called them over in New Hampshire and I said, yeah, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Enjoy your building. I got to walk away from this. Yesterday, I was wandering aimlessly for 2 hours in the heart of this crazy construction zone. And I worked 70 hours a week for 9 straight months, but I can't tell where I made a difference, and I can't do it anymore. I'm done. And so Jeremy, a good friend of mine, drove from New Hampshire and said, don't quit. And we went to 99, and he heard all about it and everything. And he said, describe to me how you're feeling. And I just say, I feel like, you know those ringmasters at the circus where the ringmaster is going against the lion, and they have a stool? And I feel, you know why they do that? And Jeremy's like, I'm not following you. What are you talking about? I know I sound crazy, but you know the ringmaster at the circus with the lion? He tames the lion with a stool. Do you know how he does that? No, I don't. And I go, well, on the stool, there's like 4 legs, and the lion doesn't know which one to attack. And I feel like that lion. Am I a contractor? Am I security? Am I a church planter? Do I work for a church in New Hampshire? What am I? What am I supposed to be doing here? What am I doing here? Am I a dad to my kids? Yeah, who am I? And he was just like, he's like, well, you're not a lion. And so they gave me this gift, this stool. And it came with a letter, and it just said, Braden, you are not a lion. You are a human being. And human beings are not human doings. Human beings are not lions. Human beings, sometimes they just need to be, and they just need to rest. So wherever you go, take this stool as a reminder that you're not a human doing. Your worth, Braden, is not by what you do on a Sunday. Your worth, Braden, is not by what you do during the week. It's not a list of tasks. That's not the summation of you. You are a human being, a deeply loved child of God. And so take this stool, and whenever you feel overwhelmed, sit on it as a reminder that you're not a lion. You're a human being. So I don't know where you are right now, if you're overwhelmed and you're stressed out, or you're harassed, or you're helpless, like a sheep without a shepherd. Jesus is calling to you, saying, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you what? Rest. Rest. Rest is not something you wait for at the end of your time here. Rest is something you can have now. And your shepherd sometimes makes you want to lie down in green pastures and lead you beside quiet waters so your soul can be restored. So let's allow our soul to catch up with our body. Let's take some time. Let's enjoy life. You don't know when the next green pasture is coming. So let's lay down. When the shepherd says, hey, you've arrived at a green patch of grass, rest.